So I have just started recording now, and I'm going to start the live. And remember, I hope we have some friends on. It's starting our live, checking connection, and yes, we are live now, alive and kicking on the internet as well. So just previously, okay. So Victor, nice to meet you. We have finally met you. There is an expression in English. What was the one I said? It was, we were looking forward to meeting you. We were looking forward to meet you, and finally, it has just happened. So today's presentation, we start with our friend Catarina, and then we go Victor, and after Victor we have Arthur, and after Rafael, just to remember, and then Irina and Maria. And remember that we are going to have, maybe, I hope we have people on the internet that they are going to make questions about our presentations, and I hope they do. If you guys want to, if you want to invite friends or anybody to be part of the group, it will be of course welcomed. So where were we previously? Where were we? The letters, remember? The letters from 1 to 4.
Yes.
And what was the last part?
We stopped right before Victor started to tell his own story.
Yes, because he told you the what was the name of the guy? Walter. He told Walter about his that his story was similar to his own, and that he would tell his story. And today we start with that. Okay, so Catarina, if you
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Yes. Let me see.
So just one moment for the people who are online and want to make questions. If there will be questions online to be made, it is going to work like this. Katarina is going to present chapter 1. After that, there will be like 15 minutes, so we make questions, and then we go over to Victor, and Victor will have his presentations, and then we have some questions, and we have a stop of 15 minutes. The live will be stopped, and then we come back. Okay? So here we go.
Okay. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Is it okay? Okay.
Yes.
So as you said before, we're gonna start with Victor's story. So from the beginning, he was by birth a Genovese, and his family was one of the most important of the Republic. His father, um, his ancestors for many years have been concealers and syndics, and his father had a lot of public situations that he solved with honor. So he was a very honored man. And one of his best friends, best mates, was a merchant whose name was Belfort. And unfortunately, he was a very rich man, but fell into poverty. And he could not deal with poverty. He had a great situation before, and then he just fell into poverty. He couldn't deal with that. So after paid all his debts with a lot of honor, he he couldn't recover from that loss. And his father, Victor's father, really loved Belfort with the truest friendship, and was very sad for his unfortunate situation. And Belfort saved a very small sum of money, so he was already very poor. And because of that, he kind of fell in a bed of sickness and he could not recover. But his daughter, Caroline, She tried her best to take care of her father, and she worked really hard. She tried to support him in every way she could. But after several months, he died in her arms, leaving her an orphan and a beggar. And that's when his father came to the situation, because Victor's father kind of saw that as his responsibility. You know, she was his best friend daughter. So he was kind of like a protecting spirit to the poor girl. And after 2 years of that, they got married. Oh, they got married. And it was a big difference between ages, but they had a really great relationship. There was some kind of a show of gratitude and worship between them. Um, you know, um, she was very grateful for him, and he saw her as his responsibility. So their relationship kind of worked well, and everything was made until to her wishes and her convenience, because she had suffered a lot. So Victor's father thought he owned her that. And during the 2 years that they got married, his father kind of left all his public functions and they went to Italy. They stayed in Italy. And from Italy, they visited Germany and France. And Victor, their eldest child, was born in Naples. And they were very different from each other. But Victor was a very, he had a very good childhood. He were their only care. No, his mother was very tender and careless, and his father was a very benevolent man. So he had a great relationship with them. And when he was about 5 years old, they went to an excursion through Italy, and his mother had this urge to visit very poor places like poor cottage because she had suffered from that. So she thought that now that she had a great situation, she could help other people the way Victor's father helped her. So it was a kind of a gratitude action. And one of these visits, while his father was gone, they went to this very poor place and they found a very poor woman with 5 children. And all the children were like dark haired and dark eyed, but there was one little girl who got their attention because she was very different from the others. She had gold bright hair, she had blue eyes, she looked angelic. She was kind of a heaven sent being. Her mother got very attached to her, his mother, and they got to know her a little bit. And she was a child of a Milanese nobleman, and her mother was a German who died giving birth. And as I said, Victor's mother got a great affection to her, and with Victor's father' permission, they were now found of this sweet orphan, and they consulted their priest, and now Elizabeth Levenza, her name, became the inmate of his parents' house. So she was kind of like Victor's sister, and everyone loved her. Everyone loved Elizabeth. And when Victor finally met her, um, he looked upon her as his to protect, to love, to care, and no word could expression their kind of relationship in which he was his sister till death, and she was his only. And that is it.
Okay,
That's it.
well done, Kathy.
Thank you.
Well done, Katarina. Very nice, very nice, very nice.
Very
Uh,
nice.
Let me see if there is a. Um, there are no questions. If there are any questions from the public on the internet, just this is the time. But now it's time of you guys. Do you guys have any? Oh, I have many.
Go on then.
Okay, so about the about the character, the guy who was the guy who was the merchant.
Oh yes, go for it.
Yes, you see, uh, usually when a person is in despair about money and has a bad financial situation, the least thing they think is about other people. I had a boss once. He said, Daniel, I have a business. The first person I think is about me. The second is about me. The third is about me. The fourth is about me. And maybe fifth about you. So you see, he had money. He could have escaped with his daughter, but no, he chose to pay all his debts because he is an honored person. And in this story, this is something we see a lot: honor, reputation. It's very dear to the story. I don't know if you guys remember, like politeness. Yes, politeness, honor, and reputation. About Victor's father,
Hmm?
he was not young when he went to. He was not young. Why did he? What did he do previously? He dedicated himself
Oh,
to
for public
for
services.
public service. Yes, public service, and to his father's business. Or no, no, to the family matters. Yes, family matters and business. So he was always busy, busy, busy. You see, like Victor in the future, and all the people here, they are all busy. There is nothing like they're not doing like idle. They are always busy. They are always doing things, and the things they do is always to the benefit of others, rather to the benefit of themselves. Uh, and there is a word. I don't know if you guys have heard downgrade, because the guy, he had a very good situation, but then he moves to a poorer place. He pays all his debts, so he downgrades from his social position. Yes.
Hmm?
No questions. No questions. Oh, there are no. Um, so there is something that happens. I don't know if it's my thing, but there is always somebody seeking a friend, like Adam in the Bible, who missed a person. Victor's father was always alone, always by himself. But there is a moment he says, I need someone. Just like Walter, remember? Just like Walter, he wanted a soulmate, somebody that could share his ideas, that could be like his his soul, like in here, mind, changing ideas and everything. So Victor's father took a long time, but he found a person. And ah,
I
and
think this is also happens with when Victor's mother found Elizabeth, the child. I think it's the same thought and and feelings. To find someone that you can share the uh, same character, maybe.
Okay. And I saw many, like also as Katarina said, misery. The father and the guy fell sick. Who got sick? Yes.
Yes,
Who took care of him?
his daughter.
His daughter, uh, Elizabeth.
Yeah, no, Caroline. The
Where did I?
merchant,
Yeah, where did Elizabeth come from? I don't know.
Elizabeth, after Caroline got married to Victor's father,
Okay,
yeah,
okay. So yes, okay. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. So
okay.
the daughters, the guy's daughter's name is Caroline,
Yes, that is Victor's mother.
Victor's
And he
mother.
got married, she got married to his father, and they found Elizabeth.
Yes, about the person, the Caroline, as a person. What can you see? What kind of person is she?
She seemed like a very kind person. She suffered a lot, so now that she's in a good situation, she wants to help others.
No.
I I'd like to ask, maybe despite the fact that the author is woman, Mary Shelley, but her women characters are not real women, but the image of kind and warm age that every man needs. Is it like that or no? Because in my chapter there isn't any.
Yes, yes, I like it. Yeah. It's it's not only a secondary thing. Like it is a person who can change a situation, has the power to change a situation for the good,
Mhm.
despite previously, like in the Bible and Prometheus, Eve brought us problems, and so as Pandora brought us problems, but differently, as Irina has just said. I had not seen that, Irina. Thank you. I had not thought about that. Yes, she
Because
she
you're not woman.
that's why it's like it's nice to be like with a very nice mixed group like this, because we can have different ideas, and it's really nice. And I think also it shows us all, like today we have here health, we have some kind of money, but we don't know about tomorrow. Who is going to take care of us tomorrow if we have a problem? If we need a hand to be laid upon us, we need a hand. Who's going to have this hand? Yes, it is nice. It's nice. Uh, about the travels, what was the reason the father traveled a lot with Caroline?
Maybe to, I don't know, maybe to show her new places. I'm not sure of the reason.
Yeah, I wrote here like something to soften her her pains, because the father died. The father, she had a bad moments. She had bad moments. So yes. And what about the age gap between Victor's father, whose name I forgot?
Oh, I forgot as well. Because it's just like in the further
Victor's father.
chapters that, yeah.
Okay, Victor's father. What do you think the age gap was between Victor's father and Caroline?
Oh, they had a big difference. It was a big age gap. Maybe Caroline. saw him as a father figure. You know, she lost her father very young, and he took care of her as her father.
Yes.
So,
Possibly, possibly, yes, yes. Because also we see what in the Bible it happens just the same. There comes Adam. We don't know in terms of time, in terms of years, as we know them. Like how much time was it? Okay, what's the gap between Adam and Eve? 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 100 years. I don't know. Let's have this. God asked Adam to name all the creatures. So it might have taken a long time for him to do that. Yes, to name all the species and everything. So he had a lot of work to do before getting Eve. And I don't know. So maybe this is the same idea. They are not. There is an age gap. I would say 15 years. I don't know. What do you guys think? The age gap between
yeah,
them.
something like that, maybe even older.
Yeah, because as you said, Katarina, father.
Hmm?
But back to that 16, 17s, it was very common. Well, it's still common to see. There are guys here dating, but usually are richer guys, yes, and they date younger women. But normally we have a kind of age gap which is not so like 30 or 40 years of difference. Yes? I don't know about the situation here. And let's see if the gift. Okay, do you have a. Other thing. Uh, Elizabeth appears in the story in this chapter. Now I'm saying the name correctly. Elizabeth, right? Okay, what was Elizabeth like as a person?
Oh, she was very sweet and kind. Like you looked at her and she looked like an angel. That's it.
Yeah. Where was she when Caroline met her? She was at
A poor village, you know.
was it like a parish house? Okay, parish house.
Yeah, kind of.
Parish house like an orphanage, like that.
No, not an orphanage. She had. She was taken care by a woman who was not her mother and had all
Ah,
more four children.
okay, I got it. I got it.
It was a family, right? She
Yes.
was
And she
adopted from her family.
no parents.
No parents.
Right.
Both of her parents died.
You see, we had Caroline. What do you see any similarities between Caroline and Elizabeth? I mean, like the content of their characters. Do you see any
A lot.
similarities?
Yes. They look alike.
Uh,
They are two women who are kind and pretty, and they also came out of the poor place and have this um, tragic tragic past.
yeah. Let me ask you something. Uh, Victor was born when Caroline met the first time, met Elizabeth for the first time. Yes or no?
No, Victor was about 5 years old
Okay, so
then.
Victor was born. Okay,
Yes.
okay. Victor was born. So we assume that Victor and Elizabeth are like the same age, or their age are
They're
alike. It's
5 years apart.
yes, yes. Okay, and don't you? I put here something, but Caroline introduces Elizabeth to Victor.
Yes, and she said something that she kind of had a present for Victor. And Victor, as a child, kind of interpreted that as a present that's for me and she's mine, you know.
We will see this happen again during the story. And we have seen that twice before. Eve, Pandora. Two gifts.
Hmm?
Is Elizabeth a gift like Eve? She's going to make Victor's mind Victor's mind worse, or she's going to be bad for Victor, or she's going to be a blessing. And yes, because Pandora and Eve, as we have said previously, it was not a good thing. It was a bad one. It was a curse. We will hear this word again in the future. Curse. Do you know? Okay? Curse. Do you know? Here in Brazil, it's very common. Like the mother says, there is a very famous flip flops named Havaianas. Do you guys know? Okay, it's a very famous flip flops. And the mother says, "Don't go out with these. It's going to break." "No, mother!" Pack. It breaks. So we say sometimes mothers have this kind of curse. "Get the umbrella with you. It's going to rain." "No, it's not going to." So mothers sometimes are like their voice, like they have a spell, and then it's transforms into a curse. Okay. Yes, there are no questions here, and I think high moral characters. Yes. Yes. Okay. I think we can move on to our friend Victor. There are no questions here. It's so quiet here, so no problem.
Well, okay. I will show you my screen. Hmm, Well, I guess uh, is
It's
do,
because
do you see my presentation
no,
now?
no.
No?
It is because when you, I don't know.
Um, one moment.
No problem. It's nice, this effect, like forever.
Yeah. Wow. Um,
Do you use two screens, Victor, or only one?
well, only one screen. Uh, you don't see it. Yeah.
We see, no, we don't see the presentation. We see a continuation of us.
Okay. Okay. Mm,
I think Irina is going to help you.
ah, now. Now.
It's
Ah,
okay now.
Yeah. It's okay now. Yeah.
yes. Just
Yeah,
because
very
Irina
good.
says, "I'm going there," and it starts working. Irina says, "Work!" Poof, and it starts working. You see, she's got powers.
Mhm.
There is a, do you know Sabrina? Ding, 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 ding. There is a, moves the, okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Let's start. Then. Well. The chapter starts with a brief Victor's introduction of Elizabeth. They were brought up together, and there was not quite a year difference in their ages. Victor and Elizabeth are opposites that complement each other. She was more calm and concentrated than Victor, and Victor, on the contrary, was a self-concentrated person with a great thirst of knowledge. And Elizabeth was rather poetic personality who just enjoyed the surroundings. I want to show you some representations of Victor and Elizabeth in culture, and it. I will show you it in my presentation. Well, the first illustration is old book representation of Victor Frankenstein, and the second photo is Peter Cushing in the movie in the Curse of Frankenstein.
It doesn't. We don't see
Ah.
your second
Uh-huh.
part.
You see only first one, yeah?
Ah, okay, now we see.
Okay, and now,
Oh,
is it okay?
yes.
Now it's
The
perfect.
the
Do you
the
see
drawing
this
is
place?
from the book.
The first one was from book. It is old illustration, as far as I know. And the second one, it is from movie, The Curse of Frankenstein. It is a movie of 16th, and the actor was Peter Cushing. Another one, it is Colin Cliff in first Universal Picture film adaptation. As far as I know, Universal Pictures nowadays has rights on equalization, any representation of this plot, as well as some classical horror movie characters like Dracula or werewolf. And that was the first equalization from Universal Pictures. Another variants. The first one, Child. Here it is Tim Burton young version of Victor. In this movie, monster was a dog, not a human. And there you can see a singer Sting as Frankenstein. It is a singer from group The Police. Another one is Dr. Victor Frankenstein in Van Helsing movie. And the last version played by James McAvoy in last equalization of this book. And also I have some representation of Elizabeth. Uh, the right picture, it is Elizabeth in 19th century book edition. The year was 1831. Yeah, and the left picture from firstly fully illustrated version of book. As well, in Universal Picture first adaptation, Elizabeth version. Here on the left side, it is Madeleine Kahn in Young Frankenstein, and on the right side, Helena Bonham Carter as Elizabeth. And the last one is Carrie Ann Moss in last version of movie adaptation, more modern view. Well, that is all. Let's go back to the chapter. After second son birth, Victor's parents fixed themselves in the native country. They had house in Geneva and campaign on Bellerive. There you can see old views of Geneva. It is 19th century photos of the city. And Bellerive, it is a fashionable suburb of Geneva, located on the western shore of Geneva Lake, from 6 kilometers from city center. There, in-house, Victor's family lived in seclusion. Victor as well prefer avoid a crowd, and his only friend was Henry Clerval, the son of a merchant of Geneva. I also have some illustration in different adaptation from books and films. Victor described him as a man of singular talent and fancy. He loved enterprise and hardship. As a character, he is the main supporter of Victor. During Victor's childhood, he thought that there was no human being happier than him. Parents were possessed by the spirit of kindness and indulgence. They were creators of all the delights which Victor enjoyed. And there, in such beautiful family, Victor discovered a thirst of knowledge. He desired to learn the secrets of heaven and earth, whether it was the outward substance or inner spirit. The main interest of him was the physical secrets of world. In contrast, Clerval was interest in moral relations, some kind a man of society. And Elizabeth was just an image for admiring as it was done in the old times. Well, and then, as Victor noted, his passion, love of knowledge ruined his life in the future. Natural philosophy was the genius that has regulated his fate. I guess that Victor's verbose passages about his life for natural philosophy not so interesting for describing. And the only thing which was really important that Victor's father could stop this enthusiasm because he thought that it was all waste of time and said trash such interests. But Victor did not listen him, and the father did not try hard to convince. So, and in the last sentence, Victor said, destiny was too potent and her immutable laws had decreed my utter and terrible destruction. So, and that is all. Thank you.
Yes, very well, well done. I did you like the things about the extra the extra you gave about movies? You like movies?
Yeah, I like to find some connections in modern movies and in people culture because this plot can uh, have some evolution, and it is a very interesting topic.
Yes. Okay. So his chapter is really important. Does anybody?
Well, was in this chapter then Victor started to his studies about Paracelsus and the other chemistries, right?
Yes. Just a moment. And
Other
if
alchemists.
somebody online, there are just a few people online. If they want to make questions, they will say here. But so far, nothing. Yes. But yes, it was Cornelius Agrippa, Paracelsus,
Paracelsus,
Al-
Magno,
Albertus Magnus.
Albertus Magno
Albertus Magnus. What was the subject?
subject, chemistry. Chemistry
Chemistry
and
didn't
Natural
exist.
philosophy.
Natural philosophy.
natural philosophy.
Yeah. Chemistry was something like transform urine into gold. You see, chemistry was like that, like magic, not science. Uh, other.
In this chapter, Victor also tells his relationship with Elizabeth, right? How is going those?
Yes, yes. He says about the how important Elizabeth is for him, is the role she plays in his life. Yes.
There was a moment that she was not important or not.
When she didn't exist. for him. When she was living in that village. After that, she was always important. You see, I remember when I was having the Celta exam, there was a question that I had not even thought about. It was, if you were in front of your students and you were to explain what's the difference between lonely and being alone, how would you do that? I would have used this story of Victor. Despite living in a very nice place with people he liked, loved, all the things, how did he feel? Isolated. Clever was nice, but deep inside, he was lonely. Because we can feel lonely being alone, and we can feel lonely being with a lot of people. Yes? And that is the thing I think about Victor. He feels lonely. He feels lonely. He feels like, wow, there's something missing here. There are things I see that other people don't. You see, like other girls are playing with dolls, and there is a girl reading a book. And how do you feel? Like girls making TikTok things, and you are studying. No, not that you can't do the TikTok thing. Yes, you can. But the only thing you do is TikTok thing, So, and that's the point. More?
Well, as far as I remember, it was main problematic of literature of this century. There were a lot of characters, lonely characters, with great knowledge, with great brain, and this knowledge causes their loneliness. Nobody can understand them, and that was a problem.
Yes, usually there is a book from Paulo Coelho. I hope you guys know Paulo Coelho. He says the champion, the champion or something like this is always alone. The true champion is always alone. Like there's nothing. It's like this. And there is something, Victor, that I don't know if you told you, but there is about the struck. That's the first time he sees thunder, the lightning.
Yeah.
And this is very important because there is a day, I told you this somewhere before, I don't know if it was when, but I said that it was, and I said that it was genius from Mary Shelley's part, because she put the three symbols in one, because Victor witnesses a lightning. It struck. The lightning was struck. The lightning was struck. I'm sorry. The tree was struck by lightning, and there is fire. You see, so we have a Bible, mythology, and knowledge. And also there is Galvani. I sent you something about Galvani. There was a fight between Galvani and Volta. Remember the votes? And Galvani said that lightning, electricity is God's power. And Volta said, it's not. Yes and no, but no, the electricity is different. It's science. So he and because of that, we have votes, But this is the important part, because Victor witnesses this, the thunder, electricity, and he heard the stories about galvanism, because Galvani was trying to prove. There was a big fight between Galvani and Volta, And Victor reads this paper. He reads this paper. Okay, Victor reads this paper. One more question about this. Does anybody teach Victor? Does Victor have a tutor, a teacher to teach him, to make him?
No. He studied alone, I guess.
All by himself. He's a
All by himself.
in English is a self-taught person. Like you don't need anybody. But it is very nice, very welcoming when you have a tutor, when you have somebody, okay, read this, read that, there is this, there is that. Without this, it's very hard.
Sometimes it's more safety, right? So you cannot went to fake information.
Yes. If you have a person to guide you, okay, so read this or read that, do this.
And also to take you out of the bubble of the thought,
Yes.
Not being right, not thinking that your thought is superior than others.
Yes.
Because I know truth. Tutor is a person who can expand this point of view. You can you maybe have the right, but you do not carry it.
There is one thing here I have to share with you as well. It is you were going to say something, Irina.
Yeah, I wanted to add that as we can remember, Robert Walton from the letters, he also hadn't any teachers until he had 15. Yeah, and it's one more parallel line between them.
It's always
he was
like this.
Forbidden to read in the library, right?
Oh yes, and you have just to the moment I want. Well, Adam and Eve are there, and God says, "You have a big forest, the size of Russia. Don't touch this tree or this." Victor's father says what? You are reading Cornelius Agrippa, Albertus Magnus, Paracelsus. This is trash, Victor. Don't read this. Now I want it. You see? Do you think something had... There is a moment, Victor says. I don't know if it was his father or at the university. If my father had said something about this, but my father made me curious. There is a moment and it made this curiosity. Remember when Prometheus, he brought us the fire from heaven, the curiosity. We want to know, and this is power. It is within us. It is part of us. It's difficult to get rid of this curiosity. Yes, and this is important. Does anybody else? Because we have now 2 minutes. Well, nobody on the internet is making questions, or so. Nobody else have questions? Oh, people, please, not only me. You have also too many contributions, okay? Just one thing. Penetrate the... Victor said something about that. To penetrate the secrets of nature. He was... I want it. Yeah, there is more, but that's it. Okay, my friends. So let's give us the 15 minutes break So now it's 30. We are almost on time. So 45, 46, 45, 45, 46. Okay? 46 because what time is it in Russia now? I'm sorry. What time is it in Russia now?
20:31.
It's
8:30.
8:30.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we come back in 15. Okay, so here it is midday third, 12:30. Okay, we have 8 years difference. 8 years. 8 years or 8 hours, I'm sorry.
8 hours, no.
8 years, no.
8 years.
8 hours, 8 years. Oh, crazy, crazy. See you in 15. Bye.
Together as well. So
Okay,
yeah,
Katarina
it was
is on.
different, but there's almost a feeling of
So
relief
Maria.
that, but this summer's done.
And now
We
it
can
is going to be
relax a bit, have a few beers, and enjoy each other's company again without
Alexa.
the
Stop. Arthur, we start with Arthur. Katarina is on now. Is missing Maria. Only Maria. And I think we can start. Katarina, Maria comes eventually. Chapter 3. Chapter 3.
Can you hear something on my audio? Can you hear this?
Yes.
It is very loud for you.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry about this, but can you give me 1 minute?
Yes.
1 minute.
So it's just the time for Maria to come. It's going to be good. Okay. Okay. I don't want to go. Okay, she's here. Okay, Maria. I say sorry to Maria. Hey, Maria.
Okay, I got 30 minutes.
Okay.
I got 30 minutes. Let's go.
Alright.
Let me start here the presentation. You guys, can you hear me, right?
Yes.
Can see my screen?
Can you make this yes presentation
No,
mode?
yeah, I will zoom out. Zoom in this. Let me start here. Okay. Frankenstein, chapter 3. In the previous chapters, we meet some characters like Alphonse Frankenstein, Victor's father, Caroline, who is Alphonse's husband, and mother of Frankenstein, of Victor Frankenstein. We meet the birth of Victor, And of course, one of the most important characters, Elizabeth, who was adopted by Caroline by the poor village. And in the previous chapter, we also discovered the development of Victor and his hunger for knowledge, and specifically for natural philosophy and science. And because of this hunger of knowledge, he began to how do I say, he shared this great a love with this type of science, and Alphonse, his father, sees this on his son, on Victor, and he said he can expand his knowledge for in other places beyond Geneva, who was in Victor's house. And because of that, his father, with the help of his father, Victor Frankenstein was assigned to travel to Ingolstadt to study in another university where natural philosophy was the main the main theme of the university. And Victor was truly excited with this, to finally practice this knowledge and to achieve another point of view and expand his knowledge, and to be in the search of this science. But unfortunately, a tragedy happens right before Victor started his journey to Ingolstadt in Germany. Fortunately, Elizabeth, she got sick by a fever called scarlet fever, and she was in truly danger because of this fever. And not just Victor, but also Caroline was truly worried about her situation because of that fever. And like any mother, Caroline decided to be with Elizabeth all the time, even if she hasn't even with this fever, because she need to take care of of her most precious thing in his life and her life. She got warned about the fever, but she didn't care because she need to take care of his child. As you can see, the part of the book that I took in the presentation, she added first yielded to our entreaties, but when she heard that the life of her favorite was menaced, she could not longer control her inside. And because of that, unfortunately, Caroline passed away because of the fever. Elizabeth got cured because of Caroline's care in the patient, but this unfortunately made Caroline also pass away. And this was the first moment that Victor not experience, but he sees death for the first time, and he got really sad about it. Really sad about it. It's a burden he carry among the story, among the whole story. Also Elizabeth, but Elizabeth has this resistant character that even if this even after Caroline's death, she still being this blessing person to take care of his brothers, even to Frankenstein. And before before Caroline's death, a few months before, a few months after Caroline's death, Victor decided to go back to his to start again his journey. He said his last goodbyes to everyone he loved in Geneva. And when he arrived in Ingolstadt, he also faced this distancy of their loved ones, and he always every time he got a prisoner of the home's reflection. He always remember about Elizabeth and his best friend Clerval, because before the journey, he was surrounded by love, by his mother, by his sister Elizabeth, and by his best friend. And now he's all alone in the university. He's all alone in his journey, but despite of this loneliness, he knows that he needs to take care of these studies, to take care of these studies and to development his learning about natural philosophy. But in his first 3 days, he faced a difficulty in his way, and his name was Professor Crimpy. Miss Crimpy was a professor who was really how can I say
Mean. Bad, mean.
what?
Mean.
Yeah, he was a mean person, and he was a modern science person too. He doesn't believe in this philosophy of the alchemist philosophy, and when he knew about Victor's idols, Paracelsus, Magno, and what is the name of the third one?
Paracelsus, Magno, Albertus Magnus, and Cornelius Agrippa.
Is Cornelius Agrippa. He like out of this these idols of the older the antiquity science, and Victor got really despaired of this, and also really angry about it, because even knowing that modern science is also right, he got this love about the chemists and this audacity to make science to correlate science with divine things. It also reflects with the thing with lighting. The first time he saw lighting, he also saw divine intervention, and it's still science for him. So he got really desperate and angry about the situation we had with with Mr. Crimpy. But Mr. Crimpy has a partner, a colleague. It was Mr. Waldman. And Waldman has a different point of view about the old science. Even knowing that the modern science was also make a miracle by a little point of view. That Paracelsus and these other elder scientists, they also carry a lot of contributions for the knowledge and for the modern science, and seeing this love of Victor Frankenstein by the elder science, Waldman decided to help him with this, and he shared his own laboratory with Victor and another machine, so he can continue his research with natural philosophy, and to advance his knowledge of science too. And was in that moment with Waldman helps, and also with Mr. Crampy menace, Victor got inspired by his new objective, that now he will be a pioneer of a new way, explore new powers, and unfold toward the deepest mysteries of creation. Creation now is the main theme of his research, and for me, this is the most important part of the chapter, because this is also the birth of all idea of all the comprehension of the Victor, of his love for the ancient knowledge, and also this divine of this divine purpose, and to be able to find a way to creation. It is the fundamental part for the birth of for Frankenstein, and I really like to read this chapter. And that's the end of my presentation.
Okay, very nice. Very nice. Congratulations, Arthur. Fantastic. Okay, so let's. I think there will be nobody asking things on the internet. I think, guys, it is with you. I love your faces, man. Nobody.
I
No?
wanted to ask
Yes.
about Victor's feelings after his mother death, because you said that he was very sad, but then he said we have we all have some duties, and I due to go to university, and there maybe I didn't understand if he think a lot about his family, not only Elizabeth, but if he is sincere in his feelings.
It's a nice question. Yes, I think he's also trying to do the same thing that Elizabeth started, that he faced the death of his mother, but he needs to get along with his own duties. He suffers this melancholy of the I forgot the word for Luther.
Grief.
Grief is. He also suffered about this grief of the loss of Caroline. But despite of that, he needs to get along with his research, with his studies. In the middle of reading the chapter, there are moments that he questioned himself about being in the university and study this. And with this thought, he remembered the grief of the lasting mother. This grief pursued his life for the continuation of the chapter also. So yeah, he maybe not being as so honest with his feelings, but I guess it's because he needs to get along with his grief and start his life for somewhere. So yeah.
Okay. There is one thing about altruism. Do you know what's altruism? Okay.
Yes.
What point of altruism do you see in the story? In this chapter.
I think it is when he faced Mr. Cramp.
Altruism.
Yeah, right after this rejected, right after Mr. Cramp rejected his idea, he had Mr. Waldman helping him to continue this researching.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's a way to continue his journey by helping him with the altruism and stuff.
Okay. There is another moment.
He got inspired.
There is another moment that when I know I am going to have. I don't care about the consequences, but I'm going to help. It's the moment when
Caroline decided to take care of Elizabeth.
Yes. Despite knowing she could get the fever, she does not care. That's her dear darling, the angel, and then she needs to get that, and she dies as a consequence. Yes. So yes. So I really don't care about what it's going to take, even my life, but I'm going to help. And this is something that happens over and over again throughout the story.
It happens with Victor in the university too. Despite knowing his was searching for ancient knowledge, he will continue his research by finding another way for creation.
Yes, but this is like the previous thing we talked. Steady purpose.
Yeah, study purpose.
My focus. Steady purpose. There is.
Sorry. Did he have a dream to make his mom alive, or no? Or it's too.
He had a dream.
wanted he to alive to make his mom alive because he starts to new form of, I don't know, science, magic, I don't know what is it, and he lost his very dear woman, and wanted he or no, or he doesn't think about it in novel.
I understand what you're saying, Irina, and it was really what I was going to talk about. Like a gun, the gun has one part of the gun is called trigger. You pull the
Mhm.
trigger, it starts the process, and that's like your question, what you said.
Yeah,
M-
yeah.
Was Victor's mother what pulled the trigger for Victor to start his pursuit?
Yes,
Mm.
maybe because like I said in my presentation, was the first time he faced death,
Mhm.
and death for him was a terrible thing, and it was unworthy for humans to happen to humans.
And it
Death,
and it was no simple, no only ordinary person, but his mother. We now we
but
know
his mother.
we all hold our mothers very. It's dear to us. Mothers are dear to us, so we have this thing with our mothers, So it is something. It's the first death, and wow, new one.
Yeah,
And other.
I just want to talk about Victor. Victor in this chapter starting to playing like God to the creation of his of he creates, and this the motivation. It's like Irina said about his mother. So yeah, this is the beginning. They really like we all saw in the movies. These parts, it's like for all these movies, this is like the most important part because it's the creation. Like the now we have the monster of Victor Frankenstein. So this is like really good. And about like I'm suffering like the altruism. We saw that also in Prometheus when he stole the fire, the knowledge, and what the and like I search about this chapter 3 and my because they are really like connect too much. So I saw like this Victor. We saw Victor like the modern Prometheus to have the knowledge, the fire. So this is really important, like for the book. So yeah, this is like more a comment than a question, but just
Yeah,
trying.
no, yeah, yes. His hunger for knowledge, yes. Playing God, yes. Very nice. What Arthur said also about the teachers, the sorry professors, mocking, nonsense. So that's the second the second time he
Yeah,
sees that.
in the final of the chapter, we see like Victor saw the creation and say, man, now I'm scared. Maybe he did something like who will impact all the world. It's important to
Yes,
to
yes.
see that. And yeah, and I think that's the impact of Mary Shelley wants to do with us, like this. So look at what's the consequence to playing like a God do like now because Victor don't have like the mind to 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 how can I say that like to do with this like how he can control with that because he did what he did because of all the things happen. So I think this is a little selfish of him. Like I'm doing this Christian, but it's for me, not for the world. So he can't. I think he don't have the power. Like I can't control that. So I think that's the reason why Victor like he starts to like he have nightmares in the chapter 4 in the beginning. I will present that, but just for man, he gets sick. So he got sick. So all these things that's just proof for us like Victor, the world is not prepared for that. No one can play like with the nature, with God like this.
Whoa. Yes. Uh, uh, just one thing that I forgot to say previously. It's my thing. Caroline, when she saw Elizabeth, she saw, I have found more than a beautiful girl. I have found the Eve to my son. She didn't take Elizabeth only because she was good, but because she wanted to have a gift for his son. But this is other thing. Okay, very very nice. So just one thing. There is a promise because Victor makes a promise. I promise that I will achieve the highest point there is. Okay, does anybody else? No questions on the internet? Rafael, you can take the con. Thank you, Arthur.
Okay. Yeah, thank you too. Beautiful presentation. Mine is more short. I can say that it's really short, but have a lot of things we can work on. So okay, let me share here. Yeah. Okay. So okay, beginning the chapter 4 with Victor gets sick. Yeah, how I said that. So Victor gets sick because all these things happened about like everything happened like I created now I'm scared, and because of that and of course another things she Victor gets sick. So Henry Clerval, his friend, take care like a nurse, something like this, with nurse. Okay, and yeah. So the story starts to be more dark, I guess, because Victor starts to get better, and he receives a letter from his father. And they say, "Your brother is dead." So
Rafa.
yes,
This is
please.
not chapter 4.
No, this chapter what?
I think.
It's the sixth, I think.
Yes, because we are. I think
Oh,
chapter.
really? Sorry.
Yes, chapter 6.
Oh, really? Sorry.
No problem. But I think we can, if you.
Oh yeah, I make like you. I search not just the read the book. I search another thing. So I sorry about that.
Okay. But we can take the. Okay. So um, so if you guys have the chapter 4, like you read, have you read chapter 4? Yes. So let's get this together.
Okay.
Let's get this together. So Victor reads a lot,
Yeah.
and I always tell my children, if there is something that took me anywhere, the place where I am is not really where I want to be, or I don't know. But if anything can take you any further books, their books. And that's exactly what happened to Victor. Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
he read a lot, and the more he
yeah. He needs to understand the life. One must the death. He needs to
yes,
understand the
life
life.
and
One
death.
must
Yes, yes, yes,
understand the death.
yes.
Yeah.
And that professor, Professor Clamp. What was the name of the professor, Arthur? Clamp,
Cramping.
Monsieur Clamp,
Yeah.
Monsieur Clamp. He helps him to understand about.
No, who the professor who helps him, he is Waldman, the other one.
But the autonomy, the anatomy, there is a Monsieur Clamp. He teaches
Oh,
about
oh yeah.
Yeah, he
he,
kind of helps like from like natural philosophy to real life. Um that connection that helps Victor a lot as well.
yes, and the progress. He makes a fast progress. He improves a lot. He studies a lot. He improves a lot, and the steady purpose continues day and night, day and night, day and night, day and night. I think he spent 3 years without connection to people for 3 years. Imagine, uh, many people say about how can I say? We can use the internet for so too many good things, far beyond our comprehension. Like it can help us be whatever we want, but we have the things that the internet offers. We have games, we have websites, we have things, we have the social medias. So that somehow it's also normal because we also need this. But like my son said, no, there is nothing wrong playing games. The problem is that only play games. There's nothing wrong playing games. The problem is spend 10 hours playing the game, going throughout the night doing that, and that's the problem. But no, I remember my early days when I started learning English for real. Man, I was so. Today I'm a little lazy about it. I don't know why, but I don't know. Maybe it's because other. It also happens when students are beginners. They have a kind of interest very elevated, but when they are intermediate and advanced, we need to give more to support. Like it's it. I have
I think it happens in all different, in all the kind of knowledge and science. All the time when you get passion for one thing, when you got when you got advanced in that, when you got study about that, you can also like Victor continue with this passion, continue liking, continue loving the thing. But sometimes it gets, you know, boring to study
but not for
more
Victor.
and more. But not for Victor.
Not for Victor. That's the point. The steady
That's the
purpose.
point why
The
he's the
thing.
mad science.
I want that. I want that. I want that. And he perceives an admiration for the human frame. Yes, how
Yes.
complex we are.
Yeah, and then he started to examine like the causes of life because he had this steady purpose to create, to give life to a lifeless thing, and then he started to examine the recourse of death, and that is the part I think gets darker in the story. But I do really like this chapter, and he finally, after isolate himself, he finally became capable of um, giving life to a lifeless matter, and that's what like the point where he start going to this steady purpose even more.
Yes. And
How Victor reacted to studying death, even with facing death with
Wait.
Carmen's death.
He said that darkness had like no effect upon his fancy. He was so obsessed with that steady purpose that death could not scare him anymore.
Yeah.
what's the name of the character in the Bible? There is a character in the Bible that it is the New Testament, that we have when Jesus comes and resurrects. Who is that? Jesus. Lazarus, yes, well done. He said something, I am no madman capable of bestowing life from death. He said that. And there is this, I am no madman capable of bestowing life from death. He does not want to have a dead person and give life to that person. No. He wants to create life where there was no life. Not like Lazarus, because Lazarus was dead and Jesus said, wake up. Wake up. And Lazarus, hey bro, my cousin. Hey, hello you man. Okay, like that. No. He wants to create life from nothing. Well.
And also he was very excited because he had now this knowledge in his hands. And he was even thought like, should I use it or should I? No, there will be consequences, but he just didn't care about the consequences and just did it anyway.
Yeah. Do you guys remember how God made Adam?
He took his ribs, right?
No, that was Eve.
No, for Adam was
Clay.
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 I would say mud.
Yeah, if you go some parts of Colégio here, where I live, and it's rain, there is clay. So he got that like goes in the, and then yes.
Create life for nothing.
Yes. Life from nothing. There was no life. I don't want to go to a cemetery and resurrect people. No. I want to create a life from nothing. Like that. Advice to know. And what kind of person would he like to create? A super person. Not an ordinary like Daniel from Pavuna, No. He wants to create a person with the super strength, big size, yes, but it should be
Perfect
a man.
Body or not?
Yeah, it should be a man, not an animal. I don't want to create an animal. Okay, it's all the kind of animal, like us. Like us, yes. And he also said like this: these species that I will create will. I don't know how do you do that, Katarina? I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. Yes, that my creatures will again, Katarina. It's perfect when she does. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to do that. So the creatures that he will create will do that.
That.
The creatures he creates will do that. Yes. On everything for the goal. Okay, and he's going to give all and everything he has for that. Okay. A great improvement. Okay, in 2 years, physiology. I think observe life from death to life. Okay, yes. So he starts to understand that you understand this. Click. He observes life from death and death to life. I don't know how he did that. Okay, so it's okay to observe some kind of animal and how the nature decomposes that, but how could he observe the other way around, like from no life to life? I don't know. I really don't know.
By searching for bodies, maybe. No.
Yes, yeah. No, yes, he goes to
Yeah,
somewhere
that's nice.
to have a look at that. Yes, yes, yes.
And also, why this new species need to be a perfect superhuman for him? Why this is so important?
Um, like a father, I'm going to change the subject. Like a father, I don't want my children to be like me. What do I want? Better than me. Parents have this. We want to have our children to be Irina and Victor. You have children. So, and you want to have your child not to be like you, to succeed you. Like I don't have my parents. They didn't have a college degree, but I want my children to. I want to have, and I want my children to have more than that. To have master's degree, doctor degree, PhD. This is like a father. Uh, but when God created, look at that. That's very nice what you said. When God created Adam, He didn't want Adam to be better than. Yes? As there is a book about Nietzsche, it is like this. What's
Doesn't even create
Zarathustra.
Adam.
Thus spoke Zarathustra. Because he
Yeah.
says, and I wrote about that in my final paper at university. It was like that. A master, to be a master, needs to create other masters. How can you be a master? You are only going to be a master if your student says to you, you are wrong. Daniel is a nice guy from Pavona, moved to colégio. Okay, yeah, nice, but he's wrong. Why? Because I believe this, and that. Now, he is a master. There is a moment in the book, Zarathustra, when he says, okay, now I want you to go away and just come back to me when you can fight me with ideas. Only come back to me, and that's exactly what is here. Victor wants to be a father, not like God. Because God abandoned Adam. Oh, you cannot touch here. What does he do? He's saying, touch here, touch, eat it. He did that because he wanted maybe, I don't know, he knew it would happen. He knew it would happen. Well, maybe if he had not said, don't touch here, if he had not mentioned that, nothing would have happened. Don't know. But Victor here wants to be a father. To be a father, and I want to have my creation, my son, to be better than I am. Yes, maybe, I don't know, Arthur. I don't know if I have answered.
No, yeah. I have another point of view on this because I don't see he is doing that as a father. Well, it could be one of those inspirations for the creations, of course, but I think he wants to do more than that.
What?
He wants to be I don't know. He wants to wants to create the this man, but not to be only his son, but his creation, like his work.
Yeah.
To be
As an
inspired by that.
artist.
But yeah, it's an artist. Like an art for him. Not a relationship of father and
Yeah,
son.
but he said, remember, I even asked Katarina to do that. He wanted his creatures to adore him.
Yeah, to adore, but a son does not adore his father all the time.
Yes.
It's not
Okay.
adore.
Yes.
It's,
Usually they despise. Usually children despise their
Not
parents. Okay.
only
I am a father. I know what I'm talking about. They despise us. Oh, they hear everyone but us.
it's more like respect,
No, they hear
No.
everyone. There is a person who they don't know. And the person, the man passing on the street said that, but I am your father. Okay.
But I think we must be honest that he doesn't think a lot about future when he will create it. He
Yeah,
thinks
yeah.
only about the moment of creation.
Yes.
That one is one of his mistakes for the future tragedy.
Yes.
And one thing again, when God created us, God is powerful. Yes. When God created us, some people, there is a noetic science, if I'm not mistaken, noetic science. Noetic science, one of the things they try to prove, man, I hope I am correct. Noetic science, they try to prove how much does the soul weighs. How much the soul weighs. Do you understand? There is a book, the name is the guy who made the famous painting. What's the name of the famous painting? The most Mona Lisa. The guy, the Da Vinci Code. That guy.
Yeah, it is.
That guy who wrote the Da Vinci Code. What's the name?
Dan Brown.
Dan Brown. Thank you, Irina. Okay, so Dan Brown has a book named The Last Symbol. The Last Symbol. Because the guy is trying to put a tattoo and he wants to have an apotheosis. Transformation from human to God. Okay, apotheosis. And there is this noetic science they are studying. The power that we have, that is given from God to us. Like when you are at a stadium with many people rooting for your team, that energy all focused to one direction. That it is just like the pull of because the moon influences the tides. Just like that, it is the power that we have. Like God passes us. And my question to you is, do you think Victor wants that for his creation? To give a bit of his... Because what is Victor's power? This? What?
His mind.
Yes, Rafael, that. Brain. Do you think the creature will be like his father? And again, God created Adam, not Eve first. Patriarchal. What is Victor going to do? To create a woman? Because we men, we are imperfect. We have many imperfections. Women are perfect. Because God saw, I saw what I did wrong, I'm going to create again, and they created the women. And that's the point where the girls, no. But okay. No, because I always make this joke. God created man first and saw his mistake. I know what I have done. Okay, and now I'm going to do that again, and I'm going to make it perfect. That's you, women. So, other thing, I put it here, like creating without thinking about
The future,
The
like you
future.
said.
And worse than the future, about what? The
About
consequences.
Consequences, yeah.
Yes, oh. I just create. Yeah. Yes. How many? Like Victor's mother, she helped altruism. Okay, but she went to help, but she didn't think that she could die herself. But here is a different way, because I am like Raphael. Who said playing God? It was Raphael. I think it was Raphael said playing God. Like Victor was playing God without thinking what the consequences would be. Yes.
And Caroline knew about the consequences. She only didn't care.
Ah, okay. Despite knowing she could die, oh, thank you for your correction, Arthur.
Yeah,
You see, I'm old.
but there is a similar thought in this. Doing the thing without caring much of consequences.
Yes. Just to trace a parallel, um, because many people think it's not, but for example, when a person has the idea of creating a knife, what was the knife for? What's the purpose of creating a knife?
Kill?
To
Help?
kill? To kill? The main point of creating a knife is to kill.
Not to kill another
No, the
person.
main
Yeah,
point.
I think the knife is like a tool, like to help.
Okay, like a tool.
To help. Okay.
So I can peel some vegetables. I can cut meat, paper. You know.
Can
But what do people use this as well?
kill.
For killing. But a gun. When a person creates a gun, what's the main purpose of a gun?
Hunt and kill.
The guns were created for war, to kill. When a person creates an atomic bomb, imagine, you have to be like, I remember when Einstein said, is it possible to create an atomic? It's like, imagine this. You are firing, you have one bullet, you are firing blindfold, and you shoot. That's the possibility. But it was created. So a person has to be very imaginative and creative to create a bomb, and use this not and more intelligent not to use. Yes. So an atomic bomb was created for one purpose, like the gun, to kill. Victor's invention.
No
I love this
purpose.
What
I guess it's
what's
not,
the purpose?
no purpose, I guess. Only to prove creation from nothing. No purpose.
I like this, man. Yes. He does not. The only point he wants to prove is that he's right.
And they can, I don't know, human can create life like God does. But yeah, the monster Frankenstein doesn't have any purpose. Only to be a man.
Yes. Very nice. Very good. Very good. Okay, my friends. 15.
Yeah, and I also want to say my goodbyes because I
Wait.
need to go.
There is the picture, Mister.
Oh yeah, teacher.
1, 2, 3. Okay, the official picture. Yes, I'm going to send it to you. Okay?
Yes, and you send also the other presentations on Telegram, right?
Yeah, yes. It is being recorded,
Oh yeah.
and I have sent also the painting, I'm recording everything. Yes, don't worry.
Okay.
Okay.
So thank you everyone. Goodbye.
Yes.
And
Okay. For the rest of
until
you,
the
see you in 15.
next presentation.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Instagram, that picture I have just posted. Okay, really cool, Irina. You go ahead.
Yeah, I can start.
Yes.
I think that chapter 5 is the most moving chapter because there we can see the creation of Frankenstein, of monster, of Frankenstein. And I want to start as and also with describing of nature in that moment. Victor walked until deep night. It was 1 hour a.m. and he described the rain pattered dismally against the panes. Candle was nearly burnt. The glimmer of the half-exciting light, and all of this, as in novel as usual, can help us to feel the atmosphere of that moment,
Yes.
because the nature is as a method to describe feelings of characters. And one second. And he can do it. He look at his creature, and in Geneva there is a sculpture statue of Frankenstein. He's ugly. He's quite ugly. But what Victor says about his creature from different parts of other corpse, beautiful, great God, he tells about his creature. How he describes it: his limbs were in proportion. Arms and legs was okay. His yellow skin scarcely covered the bulk of muscles and arteries. His hair was of a lustrous black and flowing, and we can imagine a really handsome man, maybe. His teeth of a pearly whiteness. He tried to do his creature beautiful, handsome. As we said before, he was as an artist or as a father who can control the image of his son. But there are some disadvantages. It was watery eyes and shriveled complexion. It was difficult to understand, but that's why I translated into modern English: dried face and straight black lips. So in cinema, I saw this actor was perfect. I think he is handsome but scary a little bit. And in the moment when monster opens his yellow eyes, Victor understands that it was a fault. If before he was very inspired by his work. We said it that he didn't sleep, didn't eat. He all his thoughts were about his work. But after that moment, he understood that it's very scary, and he really terrified. And he said, "Breathless horror and disgust filled my heart." And this transformation in his feelings was in one moment, in moment of infusing life into that body. I forgot. I continue. He didn't think about consequences and doesn't do it now. He ran out in his apartment, in his chamber, and locked, and he's very terrified and thrilled, and he trembled, but after some time he tried to sleep, a little sleep. I don't know how he did it, but he saw some dreams. In this dream, he saw Elizabeth, and he wants to embrace her, and he's very happy. But in one moment, he understands that she's not alive, and she's a corpse in his arms. And then he described very he describes all that corpse in very disgusting, I think, way. So I won't do it. And then he understands that it's not Elizabeth, it's there is his mother, his dead mother, and in horror he woke up and saw the monster behind his bed, and ran out apartment and house, and then there are hours of his wandering. First of all, he waits in the courtyard, and then in 6 a.m. he walks in streets, doesn't understand what to do, and in that moment he recalls a poem, and the weather also helps us to understand his inner world. Morning, dismal and wet, black and comfortless sky. He sought to avoid the rage, but he waited to meet it, or him, I don't know, to meet it in any moment. And in that moment, he didn't dare return to his apartment. And he recalls the poem, like one who, on a lonely road, does walk in fear and dread, and having once turned round, walks on and turns no more his head, because he knows a frightful fiend does close behind him tread. It was a poem written before this novel, but now we know it inside this novel. You can hear me, yes?
Yes.
And when I read it, I thought that it's similar to other poem, but it's a song of Green Day. They sang, "I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams, where the city sleeps and I'm the only one, and I walk alone. My shadow's the only one that walks beside me. My shallow hurts the only thing that's beating. Sometimes I wish someone out there will find me. And until then, I walk alone." I thought that Boulevard of Broken Dreams, it's maybe it reflects the feelings of the Victor's feelings, because he feels very disappointed. All these years he did work. He wanted to create something, and now all of that know the word. It's broken dreams. So, and he wish someone out they will find him, and he found the person. It's Henry Clerval. I don't know why. I thought that maybe he's French. That's why. Maybe his name Henri Clerval. I don't know. And old friends were very happy to meet each other. And Victor seems to forget for 1 second his problems, and they began to discuss their family and Elizabeth, and that's way they arrived to Victor's apartment, and there Victor has very difficult spirit, and we saw that he was very inspired in the beginning of this night, and then he was terrified and also disappointed, and also he was sleepy because he slept very not much, but also he was delighted to find his friend, but he was scared about monster, and he was scared that Henry will understand that something bad happened, and also he thought about his bride, about Elizabeth. So all these emotions were very strong, and he trembled and laughed aloud, and then he viewed a vision of spectre, and all of this led him to nervous fever. And in this nervous fever, and it was during months. I think it's about a half of a year. He was very sick. He had had mental illness. And what about Henry? He became a nurse for him. He was very kind and gentle and did everything to his friend. And we understand that also gives us some little some little lines to understand that maybe he wasn't very happy because he wanted to be with his healthy friend, and he wanted maybe to study a little bit, and now he must carry about Victor, and all of this period he was with Victor, and his illness finished in spring. And as in the beginning, we can see that nature describes the inner world of Victor. The young birds were shooting from the trees. Trees shaded my window. Divine spring, and in that atmosphere, he recovered. He recovered and started to feel the joyful and the joy of life, something like that. He said, and that it is the end of this chapter. From disappointed circumstances to spring. That's all.
Okay. Very nice. You said you showed something. Sorry, I should have done this. You click the handle to speak. You know. Oh. I'm going to speak. So you said like from winter to spring. What's
Something
winter?
like that. I wasn't sure that it was a winter, maybe.
No. But what you said was for me is
also-
what you said. I loved that. I want this version. 6 months.
Okay.
You see. So okay. So from winter to spring. Winter, dark, cold. For her here as in Brazil, not so big difference.
In
But-
Russia, winter very
winter
white.
is winter. Yes, winter. Yeah, white. But it's also you have less hours of sun. Yes, it's a moment that like I remember one day when Maria said, Daniel, if I ride a bike here, I can ride like 1 month, maybe 2 months, and then I can't anymore. I remember she said something like that. You know, but very nice, Irina. Well covered, Jason. Nice. Okay, questions. Can you hear a sound from here? Like a music? Thank God, because my neighbor here, man. I hate him, man. It's always the same music, and okay. All right, guys, go ahead. If you no questions, I will fire away.
Yeah.
I have
No questions.
Okay. So he said like something about depriving himself from other things. What I understand, it's like in the previous chapter there was no joining the parts. No, it was from this to this part. Yes, like poof, the creatures here, and the results. It also made me question how was God's face when he saw us? Disappointment, happiness.
I thought the same, and maybe Victor abandoned his creature. He didn't want to communicate with him or it. I don't know how better to say. And maybe in I don't know. Everyone feels different ways, but in literature there is a problem of abandoned words that God doesn't want to
Connection.
have and interaction.
No interaction, no connection, yes. Um, but there was a moment when God definitely abandoned us when we disobeyed. When we disobeyed God, He abandoned us. Oh, now your problem, not my problem anymore. When we got from the forbidden fruit. When I say we, it's because you understand, we children of Adam and Eve. That's what I when I
Yeah.
say we. And I like to when you said about the he was trying to escape from his mistake. I killed my family and went to the movies. There was a story like that. I killed his family and went to the movies. Okay.
Maybe. uh, Maybe I don't know. I don't know how old he is, Victor. But in this chapter, and maybe in all this novel, he is like a child, very naive and un irresponsible. Not responsible. And I'm not sure, but he doesn't understand that it's his ambitions created that monster.
Yeah, it was always what he wanted. Now he hasn't. It was my okay. I've always wanted this. I've always wanted to travel to a place. I got there and I. Okay. hmm Can I go home now?
Mhm.
Like that. Okay, so there was a moment when he wants to conceal. Do you know to conceal? To hide. He wants to conceal his creation. He
Yeah.
wants to. No, I didn't do this. Or no, 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 I didn't do anything. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and he goes away as you put the pictures. And there is a moment when he says, "Oof, it is not here. It
Mm,
relief."
I I'm not sure because even when he recovered, and it seems that he forgot about that, but in conversation with Henry, he told something like, "I have."
Have you seen something?
And yeah, I have something for you, and Victor became became uh, trembled and scary again. And after Henry said that it's just a letter from your father, from your family, then he understood that.
To write a
Okay,
letter from them. To write a letter from
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
To write a letter. Yeah, yeah. But okay. There is a moment about his creation that I forgot to write that he calls that a demon. That's a demon. What I have created, that's a demon. It's not human. It's ugly, rat. Oh, why did I do that in first place? Why did I do this? Look at that. He makes this, and eventually, okay. Yes, I don't have anything more about this. This question for me, this chapter for me is okay. Do you guys have any questions? No?
I wanted. I have a question for myself.
Okay.
What about Henry?
Nice.
Victor wanted to conceal the fact that he created a monster from his friend, but in the end, he told him the truth. And in the beginning, Henry thought that it's just a favor. But then Victor persuaded him, and Henry knew everything.
Yes, like you see, he is his friend, but not so friend. Because he conceals. I don't know. You see, it's always a mark of this isolation. From beginning to you see this isolation. Always alone, always by himself. He makes the thing, does not tell anybody. Like imagine this. What would the professors do? Had he shown his professors what he could, what he was capable of, how would his professors say? What would they say? You see, you all said I was wrong, but look at this. I succeeded. Yes. Okay, Maria. Look at your face.
Okay. Let me try. So, dear friends, can you see my presentation?
It is frozen. Let it go. It's frozen. It's like for us here. I don't know. Can you guys see anything?
No, I think the same.
Yeah, we see like we forever here.
Okay, so let me try again. I don't know why, but so, and how about now?
Yes.
It works. Okay.
Yes.
So, let me start. So, I've called my presentation about chapter number 6, the turning point. Well, so I'd love to talk a little bit about the main characters. I'd like to give a short summary about chapter number 6, make short analysis, and also share some quotes. And the last point is the questions. So the main characters in chapter number 6 are Victor Frankenstein, Henry Clerval, Elizabeth Lavenza, and Frankenstein, William Frankenstein, Justine Moritz, Mr. Cramp, and Mr. Waldman. I also would love to share some portraits I've created with the help of AI vision. So there were lots of visual prompts in portraits of the main characters. So this is how AI visualized the images. So this is Victor Frankenstein. So in chapter number 6, he is still feel bad and he's still severely ill during this chapter, and only in the end of it he just shows some signs of recovery, and he totally relies on Henry Cavill's care. The second main character, it was already mentioned today, Henry Cleval, his childhood companion and university classmate, and also what's probably the most important about this character, that he is the Victor's guide throughout the narrative, and he supports him selflessly without pushing to reveal his secrets. So speaking about that altruism, so probably he is one of the personalities who is truly demonstrates this personal trait. Well, and also we may say that his positive outlook is a sharp contrast to Victor's dismal attitude, especially in our last chapter discussed. Well, the next key personality, key character in this chapter is, of course, Elizabeth Lavenza. So, what's interesting about her image is that in the first edition, Elizabeth Lavenza wasn't an adopted child in the Frankenstein's family. She was actually the cousin, but in the second edition, as I've already mentioned in my last presentation, Mary Shelley, so she made her the adopted cousin in this family. So, and she, in chapter number 6, she writes a letter to Victor describing how the rest of the family has been doing. Well, the next also quite important figure in this chapter and the next one is William Frankenstein. He's Victor's younger brother, an adorable 5-year-old boy with passion for life, quite a romantic image. And what's also interesting about the description of this child and this character in Mary Shelley's book is that she describes him like a real innocent creature and romantic child who lives in his childhood. And this is like the feature for romantic literature, not the previous scientific literature. Well, the next character is Justine Moritz. She is an old family friend. In chapter 6, we got to know that she returned to live in Frankenstein's family after the death of her abusive mother. Well, and some words about the summary of this chapter. Well, Victor reads the letter from Elizabeth, and he got to know some detail update about his family. He maybe forgot for a while about his family, about the members of his family and people he loved probably. And Elizabeth reminded him everything and reminded him his connection to the family and their true love for him and care about him. She mentioned Ernest, the middle brother of their family, who is now 16 and he wants to become military. servant, and also she mentioned some father's concern about that. Also, in detail, she described how Justine Morse returned to their family, and she described her very with true love and care and warmth, very open-hearted creature and very graceful creature. Elizabeth told about Justine. And this letter probably is like the true cure for Victor in this chapter, because in a few weeks after reading this letter, and he decided to respond it, and he was able to get out of bed. So the next character, which is who is very important in this chapter, of course, his true friend Henry. And Victor's recovery was very slow, and he spent a lot of time with his friend Henry, and they studied languages, Oriental languages, and they spent a lot of time in talks, in studying natural sciences. And speaking about weather, so Irina has already mentioned the importance of weather conditions, so to say, or some descriptions of the author, because here we may see how the situation has been changing through the seasons, because the creature was created in autumn, and it symbolizes sort of decay, but then we have winter, the illness of our main character, and then comes the spring, which represents, so to say, rebirth of everything around and rebirth of Victor, because he had totally changed his attitudes, his views, and probably he changed his vision of everything he had created. And we can see it from the quotes like, "I became capable of observing outward objects with pleasure. I perceived that the young buds were shooting forth from the trees." So, and this is how he started visualizing everything around again, thanks to Henry's care about him, or probably some, so to say, evolving process inside. Some just details about the features of this chapter. So we may say that these letters is sort of an example of framing, because Victor is not recalling the details from how he lived them himself. He is recalling based on what he remembers from Elizabeth's letter. And also it's quite interesting that during the whole chapter number 6, the creature is absent, and we're just wondering where it went, or whether it will reappear or not. So we are intrigued. Speaking about Frankenstein in a condition, he really tries to forget everything related to the monster. He just refuses to hold himself accountable for the soul he created. He avoids any questions related to science. He even tried to forget everything, and Henry helped him with that. He just put everything from his laboratory and recreated his apartment. And Victor didn't want to see his laboratory and those tools anymore. So, and that really helped until he met 2 professors of him. After his recovery, he really wanted to do something for his truly friend Henry, and he decided to organized sort of meeting of Henry with his professors, Mr. Waldman and Mr. Crimple, but it doesn't really help. It just renewed his inner condition, and also, as he said, it invokes Torch's memories about the monster, his talk with his professors. And also some quotes I'd love to share from Elizabeth's letter. She said that she really feels fear for Ernest, and she said that I fear he will become an idler. Also, she described Justine's attention to Caroline. She paid the greatest attention to every gesture of my aunt. Also, she described her love for Justine. I loved her tenderly. She's very clever and gentle and extremely pretty. Also, we may see some changes in Victor's attitude to natural philosophy. By the poet, I had conceived a violent antipathy even to the name of natural philosophy, and his reaction to being praised by the professor, Mr. Waldman, inflicted torture when he praised. So, I'd love to go back to the very name of chapter 6, and I'd love first to ask question to everyone. Why have I called my presentation The Turning Point?
Oh, that's a good question. Well,
Question.
nobody. Turning point. The matter is, it's difficult to answer if one does not understand the question. Turning point. Do you know what's turning point? Turning point. Turning
The turning
point
point
is
is like
the
that.
moment when things
Yeah.
start to become different. I'm going to risk turning point to become naive again, to become a normal person, trying to be what he was previously.
Just a little bit, because he really tried to cure his soul with the help of Henry. Henry's talks about languages, about nature. They did a tour. They did a pedestrian tour around Ingolstadt with him, and it really cured him. By the end of this chapter, he just raised his spirits, and he probably tried to forget everything about the monster and feel the true life and beauty around him. So it's like a little, so to say, evolution inside him. Maybe it's not the returning to his innocent years, but maybe it's a sort of new chapter in his life, his feeling of himself and everything around.
So the return to naivety, of being naive, pure.
So probably yes, we may say so. And also, why I called it The Turning Point, let me reveal the secret. So in my opinion, this is the very point in this novel which was done by Mary Shelley to romantic Jean, because she started to describe some of, and she described some of the characters in a romantic way, like romantic literature. But before, she didn't do it probably. And we have the character of Justine, we have the character of William. So unfortunately, you'll get to know something about them in the future. But anyway, their images seemed like in romantic characters, in probably this also very important, and why the nature appeared as well, and nature influenced these spirits, or maybe just we have that descriptions as well.
Okay. More? More questions? Um, so, as you said, the turning point, I put here like he starts to admire the nature again. And, and my question is like, okay, so he went to the university for a purpose. What was the purpose of going to university?
So his purpose was
Not,
rather
no, previously.
ah,
Why did he go to university in first place? What was the reason he went to university?
so his previous reasons was rather ambitious, so to say, and he was really um, keen on that opportunities which nature gives him, and the science, nature.
Hmm. But
But
he returned to university. Yes. But
so
imagine. I went to university to create a supercomputer. Okay, I have a create. Why am I going to return to university? That's the point. You see, I created the creatures there, and I saw, and no, I don't like. Why am I going to university? Back to university? Why?
so and this time, in my opinion, he just returned not for himself, but he did it for his friend Henry.
Ah, I'm sorry. To show that he was okay, to show that it was normal. In a sort of way to tranquilize him, to make him calm.
Maybe one of the reasons was to try to just go back to his previous life.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so escape previous studies. There is a they go away to nature and okay. So you said that it started in autumn, passed through the darkness winter, and now as Irina had presented
Mhm.
beautifully the spring, the rebirth, as you said. I liked that very much. I had not witnessed that. No, I had not thought about that. I you showed you girls showed that like I had not thought about that. It was nice. More questions? No. Okay, guys. I know you must be tired, and we can finish here. Uh, just to tell you, next one, we start with the. I don't know who starts. Okay, I have it here. So let me share my screen with you. Okay, share. Am I sharing my screen with you? Not yet. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Is it? Yeah,
Sorry.
it is going like
Um,
no. Ah, okay, okay, okay. I know what happens. I know what happens. Wait. I think I know. Nah, this is the Frankenstein. Okay. Um, I know, not this. Okay, let me go. Entire screen. Is it going now? No? Yes.
Yes.
the chat, our
Yes.
Telegram chat.
Yes, yes, yes. So let me go here. Frankenstein, Frankenstein, Frankenstein PDF days project. Okay, it does not open. Nice. Okay. So we have the next 15th, which we start with me. Okay, I am going to start, and then it goes Arthur, who is not here, and then Rafael, and then Irina, Victor, and Katarina. Okay? I'm going to send you the. Well, you have this PDF there. I am just lazy to do it all. But you know, when there is, we, Maria and I will alternate. Like the next one is me, the other one is Maria. Okay, and okay, chapter 7. Chapter 7 is. I think I don't know who. It was chapter 5 that the chapter starts to, yes, wow, but this chapter 7 I think is the one. Chapter 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, remember, they are all intertwined, all connected. So please read them. I don't know how you guys do, but I listened to the LibriVox I sent you. LibriVox, remember? No? Here, there is a LibriVox. Because while I am like cooking or doing something, I always come here to this, not Gutenberg, LibriVox. It's one of the links we have. So here, there is the chapters, okay? So, for example, I'm going to prepare the chapter 7. I click here and I do my things. I take a shower or I go
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain.
So, usually I like listening to that and make some notes. I give a pause and I make some notes about that. So it's just one idea, okay? All right, my friends. So I see you all on virtually. I see you almost every day, but I will see you the real on the 15th of July. Okay?
Okay.
See you, my friends. Bye bye. Take
Bye.
care.